Micro brands are an exciting corner of the modern watch world, and while some get plenty of attention, others fly under the radar despite offering a multitude of incredible things from design, specs, general quality and overall value for money propositions. One brand that I personally think deserves a hell of a lot more recognition is Maen. This is because they are quietly producing, in my opinion, some of the nicest designs and best value watches that are out there on the market in general. And honestly, I'd go on a whim and say that they are one of, if not the most underrated brand of today. So in this video, I am going to break down why I believe Maen is such an incredible brand for the money, covering their specs, their pricing and how they compare to other brands. And of course, I'll share my own thoughts along the way. Just two quick disclaimers before we move on. Number one, I have no ties with the brand. They haven't paid me or asked me to make this video. They have no involvement in the video at all. This is purely my own opinion and a video that came from my own mind. So don't worry, it's not going to be biased. Disclaimer number two is just a quick reminder that I am still running a giveaway for the Merker Hill, either at the end of Q1 of 2025 or when we hit 7,500 subs. All you have to do to enter is like, sub and comment the hidden message in the video to enter. It's free, it takes you 3 seconds and it helps me out greatly. Anyways, let's kick things off with a bit of history. Maen was founded in 2017 by two friends from Stockholm who wanted to create affordable watches with timeless, vintage-inspired designs. The name Maen comes from the Dutch word for moon, which reflects their attention to detail and the sense of exploration that the brand embodies. Plus, of course, the moon is just a historic symbol of time. They focused on minimalist, refined designs that take clear inspiration from classic watches, but give them a modern twist. And this is one of my favourite things about the brand. As I always say, you can't say a brand is good or bad based on designs alone, as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and every design style has its fans. But I do think Maen's designs are particularly good. This is partly because vintage watches are my main passion. I just think they're a lot more elegant and just look a lot more sophisticated and nice than modern watches, and they take vintage inspired designs. But second is just that their watches are so basic in the good way, right? It means that they're versatile, they can be worn as a daily or one watch collection. They're just really versatile basic designs that absolutely anyone can pull off. Now they do have a few more funky and fun dials that are more statement pieces, but those are all limited editions. The general dials that they have, the general pieces that they have, are very simple and very wearable. This just means that their offerings are so versatile that, as I said before, pretty much any single model that they produce can be a one watch collection. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, the objective points that tell a brand's worth to many people, which is the specs and build quality that make the brands stand out. Take the Hudson 38 for example. It's their diver watch and it's in a perfectly balanced 38mm case with a 47mm lug to lug and just a 12.05mm thickness. So it is slim enough to wear daily, but it is still really robust and still has 300 meters of water resistance, so it also works perfectly as a diver. As for the dials, they are gorgeous, with details like applied indices, sunburst finishes, and even a touch of texture on some models. Yes, they are very basic, but that's the thing with this brand, basic but elegant. They also always use sapphire crystals with AR coating on both sides, so legibility is top notch, and the watch feels far more premium than its price would suggest. For movements as well, Maen does not cut any corners. They use only reliable Swiss or Japanese calibers, like the Sellita SW200 or Miyota 9015. These are workhorses, accurate, dependable, easily serviceable, and very, very robust. For example, in their GMT models, they have the Sellita SW330, which not only has, of course, Swiss-made everything, but it's just a really good high-end GMT movement when you find some watches in this price range with something like an NH34, which is just 10 tiers below. The bracelets are also impressive too. You get in solid links, milled clasps and screw pins in all of their watches, even the more affordable ones. And for the big boy, the finishing, I don't even know what to say here. The finishing is just so good that even on their $700 watches, it rivals the amount of finishing and the level of finishing you would find on more expensive brands like Oris or Longines for 2 or 3 times the price. This is really impressive, and I'd probably put at least specifications, build quality, finishing wise, the objective facts, that this brand is in contention for one of, if not the best value for money in about $1,000 or under. As for the packaging, that doesn't really matter as much. It's okay, does the job. It's not particularly amazing. It's not a really nice, elegant opening experience, but it gets the watch to you safe, so that's all you really need. If we move on to the pricing and compare them to some other brands now, this is where Maen really shows they're the good stuff. Most of their lineup falls between $700 and $1,000. And for what you're getting, premium materials, Swiss high-end movements, classy design, top-end specs, some of, if not the best finishing in the price range, etc., that is exceptional value. So let's compare them to some other brands in the same sort of price range. Take Christopher Ward for example. They are another fantastic and great value for money microbrand. And I have been really impressed with them, especially in terms of value for money. But their, more entry-level diving watches are about $1,100 on bracelet. Whereas Maen has equal specifications, maybe a little bit worse, but pretty much the same level specifications, as good finishing, and in my opinion, just as nice designs, for only $700. Or even Seiko. Let's compare them to Seiko, because while they do have some gems, I'm not trying to knock Seiko. They make really nice stuff, they have great history, and I really like the brand, but they have QC issues, they have an over-reliance on hardlex instead of sapphire crystals, and they always end up using lower end movements like the 6R series or NH35s for watches even in higher price ranges, which just makes them really unappealing at this level when compared to brands like Maen. Maen also stands out from other microbrands because their designs feel distinct. While some microbrands rely too heavily on homage designs or something too out there and funky and new, Maen strikes the perfect balance between vintage inspired but still feeling modern, fresh and original. As for my opinion on the brand, it's just really positive. They offer some of the best watches in the price range, hands down, and that is not arguable because I'm talking about specifications specifically. There is almost nothing else on the market that has this level of specifications, this level of build quality, this level of finishing for anywhere near $1,000, let alone $700. The people behind the brand also seem really passionate, which is nice to see, and from what I can see, they actually listen to their consumers, which brands like Rolex and Patek Phillipe could try to do a little bit. Now, as for my issues, don't get me wrong, no brand is perfect. If I had to nitpick, I'd say their lineup is still pretty limited, which might leave, some collectors wanting more options, and while I do love their minimalist aesthetic, it might not appeal to someone looking for bolder, more standout designs. Even though this is the case, the verdict is the brand worth the money? Absolutely. This is one of the best value propositions I have ever seen from any watch brand ever. Seriously, this brand really makes good, high-end, great design stuff for prices that are just ridiculously cheap. You're paying the higher end of what people would consider affordable to get a watch that is on the lower end of what people would consider luxury quality. And you have to keep in mind that they were only founded in 2017. They're still very young, and being where they are now is already really impressive. My only real issues with the brand is, again, their limited model choice, and that some people might find the designs a bit boring, which is totally fair because other than a few limited edition dials, they're not watches that really stand out. But that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to be a safe, a basic and a high-end watch, and I think that it would really benefit anyone that collects watches to have a Maen as a great daily piece. I also think that these issues will be resolved in the future, as the brand is so young that they've only just started releasing models. I think that in the future, more models will be released, maybe they'll try to experiment a bit more. I mean, we saw in 2024 their Lunar Classic. It's a really unique and cool dress watch, so I'd love to see more like that from them, and I'm expecting to see more like that from them, which is quite exciting. Overall, I'm really impressed with the brand. I just wanted to make this video because I really think they deserve more recognition, and I think that my viewers would really benefit from knowing their existence because they're just not talked about enough, not at all. In fact, they've impressed me so much that I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be reaching out to them, and I would love to review some of their watches and get hands-on on the channel. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the video. I'm sorry that this is both a bit late and that it's a bit fast-paced. Some stuff has happened, blah blah blah, but don't worry, I'm still here, I'm still back. Still going to be uploading every 4 days. I'm posting a short and a community post every day now. Making an Instagram, making a TikTok. I'm trying to spread my wings and go to more platforms and do more different things. I am also thinking about starting a live stream once a week where we just go over what happens in the watch community and have a little chat community wise. I want to really get with my community more, which is why I've also had a Discord for a while that I have now started linking in my descriptions and put on my channel page, because I think it would be lovely to talk to some of you, and maybe in the future we could use some of your ideas, or even if you want to show your watches or your opinions, I can make videos based on that. Anyways, I do appreciate you watching, and never forget, time keeps ticking, so use the time you have wisely.